Once had a picture-loving husband and two adorable just playing high, but after searching carefully the three of them were nowhere to be found. Emotions brew beneath the surface calm. Returning to the bedroom, she had a shocking realization: the clock on the table was frozen in a hospital bed, and her parents rushed there right away. Vulnerability meets chance in cinematic grace. Romantic undercurrents. Careful, just take it easy, Megan. Where's Thomas? What? Where's Thomas? Heartstrings tugged by. Who's Thomas? My husband. Husband? Megan, you're not married. Megan was totally bewildered. She started asking about her kids, Isabel and Dylan, but her parents looked just as confused. Listen to us, you are not married and you don't have any children. No. Whispers of what could be echo through. No, you're wrong. The doctor calmed Megan down and pulled her parents into the hallway, sharing his guess. Megan's current state might be related to her long coma. It turned out that 3 months ago. Serendipity at its finest, pulling strings unseen. It started pouring rain as Megan drove home from work. Distracted while talking to her mother on the phone, she didn't see an incoming truck. The sudden crash injured her brain, sending her into a coma for 3 months. Hearing this story from her mother, Megan just couldn't believe her perfectly happy life was just a beautiful fantasy. Serendipity at its finest, pulling strings unseen. To keep her parents from worrying, she stopped obsessing over proving her husband and kids existing while they popped up were totally not the man she was looking for. Serendipity at its finest, pulling strings unseen. Unable to vent, she told her best friend everything. The friend didn't blindly agree, but also didn't dismiss her, just asking, do you have any proof they exist? Megan suddenly remembered something and had her drive to the house she shared with Thomas in her memory. Looking through the window, she saw an empty, undecorated house interior. His name is Thomas. Emotions brew beneath the surface calm. He's 4 years to the day older than me. He loves photography and he's built up this amazing business with it, and he loves me, I know. Our children, Isabel and Dylan. As she spoke, Megan totally broke down. The massive gap between memory and reality made her doubt everything. Was it all just a dream? Layers of longing unfold in quiet beauty. But just as that thought crept in, a turning point appeared. One day, following her parents' suggestion, she went to a photo studio for a job interview. Oh hi. Hey, you must be the Thomas. Thomas. It's you. Yes, Thomas. You are. Vulnerability meets chance in cinematic grace. Both his looks and his name were exactly the same as her husband in her memory. Megan's heart swelled with joy, but she quickly noticed he didn't seem to recognize her. After a brief disappointment, she quickly pulled herself together and introduced herself, Megan Murphy. Let me show you the phone. Okay, alright. Whispers of what could be echo through. Thomas was rambling on about the job details, but Megan wasn't listening. She was just gazing at Thomas's handsome, incredibly familiar face, afraid this entire encounter was another illusion. Noticing her intensely scrutinizing gaze, Thomas couldn't help but look confused and finally asked, I'm sorry, are you, yeah. Layers of longing unfold in quiet beauty. I'm sorry, you just look so familiar. Do you know me? I'm sorry, no, I don't think so. Just then, a phone rang loudly. While Thomas was on the phone, Megan carefully took out her cell and aimed the camera at him, but she didn't realize her phone's notification sound and flash were still on. Emotions brew beneath the surface calm. Thanks, you too. Bye. I'm just taking a photo of the phone and the planner, so I don't forget where they are. This excuse was weak, but it worked for now. After getting a rough idea of the job, Megan immediately met up with her friend at a coffee shop, telling her every detail that happened at the studio. Serendipity at its finest, pulling strings unseen. Afraid her friend wouldn't believe her, she even made a list packed with Thomas and even his small daily habits. Seeing her friend's shocked and disgusted face, I'm here for Tommy, let me go get him for you. Are you the Tim? Romance blooms in the rain. Are you sure? Hearing the woman's firm answer, Megan instantly lost all her strength. She never expected Thomas already had a girlfriend. After a whole day of aging, Megan finally made a decision. She couldn't possibly interfere and ruin their relationship. Whether as a friend or a colleague, as long as she could be by his side and see him happy, that was enough. This was her honest thought after learning he had a partner. Romance blooms in the rain's aftermath. But something happened that reignited a tiny spark of hope. Your name. Everything in her dream didn't perfectly match reality. Things seemed to be slowly aligning, layers of longing unfold in quiet beauty. She wondered if reality would eventually become exactly like her dream, and the best way to verify this was simply to wait patiently. Brought him a cup of coffee. Sr. Jockwick just seemed like the day for it. Heartstrings tugged by the unlikeliest paths. That's my favorite guy, next to Creamer. Not only that, but after marrying in her dream, she gave up her career to fully support Thomas, so she knew his work like the back of her hand. She instinctively knew his preferred shooting ambience, and how to guide the subject's emotions. This amazing synergy instantly caught Thomas's eye. While growing more interested in his new employee, Thomas started inviting her to join his outdoor photoshops. In no time, the two, who originally only discussed work, developed more topics, and their relationship evolved from colleagues to friends. Do you have a map, or for what? It's automation. Well, I definitely have an appreciation. This interlude promises more than it reveals. Is that why you took the job? No, that was a happy circumstances. Facing Thomas's persistent questions, Megan remained silent. Even if she told him the truth, Thomas definitely wouldn't believe her and might even think she was mentally unstable. One day, Megan's best friend arrived early outside the studio, waiting for her so they could grab dinner together. Seeing Thomas walk out, she couldn't help but exclaim, "Wow, when you dream good, no?" Megan no longer cared what others said about her beautiful dream. The spark ignites, subtle yet undeniable. Even when facing Thomas's girlfriend, she didn't feel that complex emotion stirring inside her. She just viewed her with calmness. She firmly believed that one day, reality would overlap with her dream, and Thomas would belong to her again. Her guest didn't come from nowhere. One morning, Thomas, who arrived early, received the devastating news that his mother had passed away. Emotions grew beneath the surface calm. When Megan heard this, her first thought wasn't to visit him, but to apologize to her friend, full of shame. Thomas in her dream had mentioned more than once that his mother died of a stroke. The sad event happened because his father was out that night. If she had told Thomas earlier to pay attention to his mother's health, or arranged for 24-hour care so someone could call for help, this tragedy might have been avoided. This interlude promises more than it reveals. After her friend comforted her, Megan quickly adjusted. Since she could change the past, she decided to do what she could to support Thomas and share his burden. Can we say hey to learn things while I was out? No problem. He's not today, would he busy? Just a couple of sessions, yeah. Layers of longing unfold in quiet beauty. I didn't want to overdo it. Megan's dedication and her final few words of comfortable deeply touched Thomas. Unlike others who offered shallow politeness, he somehow sensed her genuine heartache. Compared to Megan's warmth and helpfulness, his girlfriend's reaction utterly disappointed him. The woman showed zero sympathy for his mother's death. The narrative's pulse quickens here. And instead offered comfort, saying death often means new life in some cultures, so he shouldn't be too sad and decorated in anything from a symbol of a favorite hobby or profession, a brush with destiny that lingers sweetly. Drowning in grief, Thomas couldn't bear to listen anymore. Interrupting her, he used a headache as an excuse and left with a grim look. His unhappiness was caught by the observant Megan. Assuming he was upset over his mother's death, she suggested they go out for a walk together to clear his head. A brush with destiny that lingers sweetly. Walking by the sea, the two started reminiscing about their funny college days. Although she had heard Thomas tell these stories countless times in her dream, listening to him now still feel wonderfully fresh. I had a dear friend, they lost his mom suddenly, like you. It always both him how things could change overnight. His friend was actually himself. Guided by Megan's empathy, Thomas finally found an outlet for his long-suppressed emotions. This heartfelt conversation paved the way for their feelings to blossom later. Vulnerability meets chance in cinematic grace. Megan remembered Thomas mentioning that soon after his mother died his father became bedridden from grief. Tell Thomas, knowing he likely wooed love story with his late wife. The onion soup Megan made was a hit with the father's serendipity at its finest, pulling strings unseen. Megan's presence seemed to bring life back to the house. When she was leaving, Thomas thanked her and was about to suggest she come back soon, but his girlfriend showed up. Oh hi. Hey. I'm glad that he liked the soup. Thank you. After she left, the girlfriend thought hard, realizing her insensitive words at the restaurant were the reason for her boyfriend's bad mood. which led to this late-night visit. Emotions brew beneath the surface calm. Although Thomas verbally accepted her since apology, the crack in his heart refused to close. In the following days, encouraged by Thomas, his girlfriend started trying her hand at photography. Although occasional friction, they got along well and looked like a sweet couple to outsiders. This interlude promises more than it reveals. This could have been their life, but then the note Megan had written about Thomas's interests accidentally fell out of her purse. What is this? This is in your purse. It's just some notes. About me? It's not what you think. Well, it's literally got my name on it. You know all that about me? This interlude promises more than it reveals. At this point, Megan knew any further thought would only cause misunderstanding, so she reluctantly told him the whole incredible story, parallel universes, prophetic dreams, the reason she hadn't told him sooner. So, you made up a story about me and wrote down notes and no, it's memories. The color purple, it's your favorite color, but you lie and tell everybody that is green. Emotions brew beneath the surface calm. Even though you have way more purple shirts and ties in your closet than any other color. And football. You don't like watching any sport other than football. Megan revealed everything she knew about him, his private secrets, his favorite sport and food, even the specific details of the furniture in his house. In her memory, there was a photo of her standing in front of an old barn hanging in their living room. A brush with destiny that lingers sweetly. She spoke with all her heart but failed to earn Thomas. He decided that Megan knew all this because she knew she couldn't blow him. Such an unbelievable tale was hard for anyone to swallow. Serendipity at its finest, pulling strings unseen. After the incident, Megan was forced to quit her job. She tried calling Thomas to explain, but her calls went unanswered every time. Meanwhile, Thomas's life wasn't easy either. Without Megan's assistance at work, he finally realized how much she had helped him. The time spent with Megan made him realize exactly the kind of person he needed by his side. It might not be Megan, but it definitely was Gray. The narrative's pulse quickens here. That afternoon, he called Gray to an empty classroom and apologetically broke up with her. Just as he prepared for her anger, Gray looked relieved. Maybe the timing's for the best. Yeah. Why is that? I got approval on a field study to China. In fact, Gray had already planned to break up with him. Their relationship rift was one reason, but more importantly, she was about to leave for a 6-month research trip in China. This interlude promises more than it reveals. After the breakup, Thomas poured all his energy back into work, hoping to distract himself and stop thinking about Megan. But one day, while scrolling through photos on his computer, he accidentally stumbled upon a picture he had secretly taken of Megan. Seeing the barn in the background, a lightning bolt struck Thomas's mind, the portrait that hangs in our house of me in front of that exact same barn. Emotions brew beneath the surface calm. If the details about his interests could be gathered through research, how could she know about this photo? He only took it when Megan wasn't looking. Recalling her intensely scrutinizing gaze when they first met, her genuine grief when comforting him, and the friend she mentioned by the sea, he suddenly realized Megan might not have lied. He got Megan's address from the job placement agency and showed up near her house. But after ringing the doorbell several times, no one answered. As he was about to leave, his mother's movement appeared behind him. She instantly recognized Thomas. Romance blooms in the rain's aftermath. After all, her daughter had shown her his photo more than once. She also knew this man was the reason her daughter was so sad recently. Why are you here? I need to tell her. I don't really phrase it right, yet. Do you think she imagined it all? Yeah. If she was right about everything. So you'll give her a chance? Honestly, I'm more worried about her giving me a chance. Emotions brew beneath the surface calm. Sensing the sincerity in Thomas's voice, the mother pointed him in the right direction. Thomas quickly found the aquarium they had visited. Turning around, the person he wanted to see was sitting right there. Seeing his appearance, Megan smiled. She knew exactly what his arrival means. You recognize this? It hangs in our house. I took that day at the farmhouse. And I didn't show it to you at the studio because I thought you would think it was creepy. Nothing about this is normal. It's not normal to know this much about a stranger. I can't help that I know that much. I know. Romance blooms in the rain's aftermath. And that made me think. You know almost everything about me. But his knowledge of Megan was practically little. He stopped talking, instead proving his intent with action and showing his determination to spend the rest of his life with her. The movie ends here. This interlude promises more than it reveals.